The boys from the port, I reckon they can't run. Hello there and welcome to the third quarter final of the 1986 National Panasonic Cup. And we're certainly coming down to some very interesting matches, commencing right here with our third quarter final between the Tigers and the Raiders. Balmain, they defeated Cronulla Sutherland in the first round by 22 points to 14. Canberra defeated the Bears by 17 to 6. But it is significant, we have two last start losers on our hands here. Balmain, they had Western Suburbs, it seemed, locked up last Saturday, but went down in the final analysis to a very gutsy Magpies unit. And of course, well, the Canberra side, they were beaten, but as they said, they were good in getting beaten by the defending premiers, Canterbury Bankstown. So their form isn't all that bad. And so going into the match, Balmain and Canberra have had to make some changes, but more so Balmain. McCabe comes into the second row to replace the injured Paul Sirenen, and Kerry Hemsley comes in to replace David Brooks, who's been dropped to the bench. Interesting to note that Gary Schofield, of course, is back with Balmain, and his English colleague Tony Myler will sit on the bench and in all probability get a run. Canberra, Terry Fay was forced out of the side only this morning, and Mitch Brennan has come into the team. He knows plenty about cup football. Those of you at South Sydney would agree with that comment. His younger brother Rowan is in the second row, and Gary Spears in number 11. He certainly knows plenty about Leichhardt, himself being a former Tiger. At the end of tonight's match, we'll be doing the semi-final draw. We'll be joined by the chairman of the board here in New South Wales, Tom Bellew. And so you people planning a semi-final appointment with us here at Leichhardt will know tonight just who's playing who. Well, Bill and Graham will join me in just a moment, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this third quarter final between Balmain and Canberra in just a moment. Before a reasonably good crowd, we found down through the years when Balmain are at home. Barry Barnes is the referee, incidentally, but when Balmain are at home, they always attract a reasonable crowd. Of course, the weather has been pretty good to us today, following some rain in Sydney, but it has cleared through this Wednesday, and quite a pleasant night. So, time on, and Conlon with, for him, a shallow kick going down to Gary Belcher. He's met there by Roach, and coming in over the top was Davidson. This is Spears. Oh, good tackle. Hemsley hit him with everything, almost the soles of his boots, but I tell you what, Hemsley's the man that's hurt. Belcher puts the kick in. It's that's not a knock on. It came off the boot of Gary Jack. Hemsley is coming back. He's hurt all right, but he's like a good footballer should always try not to let the opposition know that you are stung or hurt. But he hit him with his head, and he went straight down and didn't move for a couple of seconds. Here he is back into it now. Canberra with the ball, so Hemsley probably didn't exactly know where he was or what he was doing on that occasion. Play just outside the Balmain 32. That's Gilbert. Bellamy. And that's Rowan Brennan, the number 10. Big lad. And Sullivan's kick. Elias went through for the charge down. Bridge with the number 7 on tonight. And Bevan going for a dummy half run. Pearce on the end of a Meninga tackle. Pearce, I'm expecting him to have a big one tonight. He has been quite upset, I believe, stung in fact by criticism levelled at him in one of the Sydney papers this week. In fact, the man who works alongside him every day of the week is Bill Anderson.
Well, you're right, Ray. He hasn't been happy about some of the criticism because a great deal of it's been unwarranted. Wayne's form suffered somewhat, as has the demise of Balmain, but I'm sure tonight that he's going to make the critics eat their words, and I know that he's determined to do that.
This is Spears, tackled by McCabe and Hemsley. Play just to the Canberra side of halfway. 13 is Coyne. You might recall he had a solid game against North Sydney when Canberra counted for that team. O'Sullivan and Belcher came into the back line. That'll be 6 more. No, he hasn't indicated that way. I would have thought he would nullify the tackle count. It appeared to be knocked out of the Canberra player's hands by a Balmain player. The kick now goes down to Jack, again off the feet, no knock on. And Jack is tackled about 30 metres out from his own line. Played back to Bridge, just a couple of paces out from dummy half. McCabe takes the battering, and 3 Canberra players oblige. Here's Pearce out wider, not taking up on the first. Now that pass to Bevan has gone to ground, but it came off a Canberra player. He's restarted the tackle count this time. Conlon, Jack, Schofield, Gartner. Gartner going hard and fast down the right flank. He comes to a sliding halt. Dummy half is Jack, through Schofield. Bridge cuts out Conlon, picks up McCabe. Hemsley, now it's away to Bevan. This is Pearce. Pearce to the 22. Hemsley, Bevan's put it down behind him. It'll be play on, and players just outside the Canberra 22. Meninga lying all over the tackle player, giving his team a chance to get their defence organised. Roach is tackled, and I think this is tackle number 4 as he plays it. Elias, back it goes to Bridge, and then away to the number 4, Conlon. A chance for the Tigers. He tries to get it round the corner. 6 more tackles. Good refereeing by Barnes. McCabe plays it 11 metres out. It's gone to Pearce. Over now to Bridge. Steps off his left. Goes back into the traffic zone. Up inside the 10. And he's pulled down by some desperate Canberra defence. Dummy half, Benny Elias. Dummy's right. Comes left. Roach. Pearce. 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 Oh, the ball has gone to ground. And cleaned up by Canberra. And Coyne it is who is calling for attention as Pearce, I thought for a moment he might have gone for it. I thought he might have put the foot flat on the floor, but he was looking for helpers. And Coyne, the Canberra player, is apparently injured. If he's not injured, then he's probably down there giving all his mates a chance to get their breath back. But there it was, Pearce trying to put the outside men over the line. I do think had he have gone for it all out himself, knowing Pearce, he would have scored. It
was an unselfish move by Wayne to look for his support on the outside, but haven't Canberra been under all sorts of pressure? And in reality, they've come out of it fairly well. Balmain have been pressing. They had a couple of lots of 6 again, but the Canberra defence has held tight, and now it's their turn to work the ball out of this danger zone.
So Coyne it is who plays the ball. Almost a windless night here at Leichhardt, Graham Hughes.
Yes, there's no advantage to either side here tonight, Ray. Of course, a big start is essential for Balmain. A lot of pressure on the whole team the way they've been playing, and they've had all the football. Another great opportunity here to put points on the board.
Elias, the dummy half, sweeps it right to Bridge. Bridge is tackled by Rowan Brennan and by the 5/8 Bellamy. Now it comes back left for Roach. Now to Conlon. It went behind him, picked up by Jack.
Whoops.
And Jack is almost volunteered a tackle. Conlon goes from dummy half as they take play back to the centre. And they're about 12 metres out. Conlon, I thought he might have lost the ball as he is getting up to play it. It's gone out to Bevan. Meninga wraps him up. He's made a couple of valuable tackles, Meninga, in the opening 5 or 6 minutes. Across now for Bridge. Up goes the bomb, and it's high, giving the runners time, but Belcher's there to take it. Hit immediately by Schofield. And played back to Ferguson, who decides, well, it's about time I took some pressure off the forwards. And he's tackled 20 metres out from his line. Back to Bellamy, a short ball for Coyne. Coyne wrapped up by Pearce, Hemsley and Roach. On the 22 line they are. He could have been pinched there for walking off the mark. The pass was forward from Bellamy to Rowan Brennan, but he'll play the ball just inside the 22. Played back to Walters. Fired back for the kick to Belcher. They put pressure on him. Oh, good pressure too by Kevin Hardwick. Played by Kerry Hemsley. They push the ball out to McCabe. On it goes to Schofield. Schofield away from one. Held by Ferguson. Schofield to play the ball now. Back to Russell Gartner. Back on the 22, Elias. Out 25 metres is Jack. Jack comes back to the 22. Pulled down and tackled there by the number 9, Gilbert. Across to Elias, on to Conlon. Over the 22 goes Conlon. Gets the ball away to Davidson. Davidson for the corner. Davidson scores for the Tigers. A try that one thought was coming about 2 minutes back. Davidson scores, but it was really Ross Conlon's try. There's the Foster's Lager replay as Conlon went into Meninga, held it back, tackled low, but he stood long enough to give it to Davidson, and 4 points to Balmain.
This try was because of the number 12 for Canberra, Walters. He never got outside his man. That meant that Meninga had to come in and make a tackle that he didn't want to take. Conlon held the ball well up for Davidson, and I like the looks of this fellow. He's a good finishing winger. He knows his way to the try line.
There he is on camera, John Davidson, the try scorer. In fact, Balmain back now with the 2 flankers that they started the year so impressively with, John Davidson and Russell Gartner. And Conlon to take this from on the 22, just a fraction in from the touchline. The try came after 7.5 minutes when Balmain had all the football and they mounted an unbelievable pressure. Conlon's kick is wide, very wide in fact, and so the scoreline remains unchanged. Balmain with 1 try, scored by John Davidson, leading by 4 points to 0. Well, Rowan Brennan was able to beat Kerry Hemsley. He beat him point blank. I've made a couple of excuses for Hemsley. I can't make any more. He was injured earlier on. But there's the pass inside from Rowan Brennan. And Chris O'Sullivan levels the score up for the Raiders.
Balmain won't be able to take the Canberra Raiders lightly. They're a side that's got plenty of attack. Here the break was made by Rowan Brennan. He slipped the ball back inside to the halfback Chris O'Sullivan, and he scored underneath the uprights for a great Canberra Raiders try.
Chris O'Sullivan, the try scorer. One of the very good number 7s running around in the Winfield Cup and National Panasonic Cup. It's incredible to think that probably on a reasonable rating, Chris would come in at about number 5 or 6. Meninga converts, so Canberra take the lead. Canberra leading Balmain 6 points to 4 in the National Panasonic 3rd quarter final. Dean Lance, the Canberra captain. Let's check the football tab, see what the pool is, what the estimates are from you people at home. Here's John Croucher, Mr. 42.
Yes, Ray, the dividend pool tonight is $33,000, and 70% of all of the entries have gone for the Tigers to win this, with the most popular score selected being Balmain 18, Canberra 10.
Good on you, John. Canberra with the clearing kick, but Balmain inside the 5. It's the first penalty of the match. Still no scrums. 12.5 minutes gone. No scrums. And this is the first penalty. Spears now. Right in the middle of the National Panasonic sign. National Panasonic conducting a huge seminar at the, I think it's the Manly Pacific, and all the reps from National Panasonic here at the ground tonight watching the game. So far, a good one for them to see. The kick coming up now for Bellamy. Davidson folding back, gets a good bounce. Jack is with him. Here's Jack. Kelly Hemsley, my statistician, tells me has missed 3 tackles, plus he's put 1 down. Hardwick. Roach. Bridge. Favourable bounce for Gary Belcher. This is Gary Jack. Right on the halfway. You may, at this stage, have picked up a little change in Wayne Pearce's game. I'll talk about it in a moment. This is Bevan. You'll probably find him sitting back off the steam of the game just a little bit, and waiting for his opportunities where he can do better by coming off a pivot rather than being the first forward to take it up. You may see that change in Pearce's game already starting to unfold after 14 minutes. Conlon, Schofield, Gartner's with him. Good tackle by the former Manly player Phil Carey. Conlon, Elias, and this is going straight up and down. Put down by Bevan. Don't touch it, Davidson. That's a penalty if you do, but he didn't. And it's to be played by Craig Bellamy. So this Canberra player unable to play the ball. It is Dean Lance. Barnes coming over to make a quick inspection as we watch the Foster's Lager replay. Whether or not, of course, Dean Lance is actually injured is a question that remains unanswered. It could well be that they're just taking some oxygen time. This is Mitch Brennan. Let's take a sideline comment from Graham Hughes as Canberra get a penalty.
Well, Don Ferner, interesting enough, was quoted in the papers over the weekend saying how impressed he was with this Canberra Packs defence against the Premier's Canterbury Bankstown last Sunday. There's problems for him out wide, though. I know it's very important for him tonight for his side again to hold the middle of the rucks, and it is a lot easier in four-quarter football to hold the defensive line. But Balmain is starting to sniff out a couple of half breaks and opportunities out wide, and the danger man at the moment is certainly wrong. The one danger man at the moment is Ross Conlon for Balmain.
Certainly has had a fine start. This is Spears. O'Sullivan, Bellamy, Coyne. Bellamy again, switching it to O'Sullivan. Hemsley makes that tackle. It's Walters. Gary Jack going up, coming down with the ball in spectacular fashion. And a penalty to Balmain. Bridge coming over to take the line finder. Bridges kick. A good one. In fact, it was fielded by one of our cameramen who was coming slap bang down on a camera we have about 15 metres into Canberra's territory. Well done, son. Take something out of petty cash tomorrow. Davidson. McCabe. Hardwick. Roach looking on the inside. Probably a little mistake there by Benny Elias. He was getting ready for the next play rather than playing out the one that was currently on. There was good ground to be made. There's the bomb from Gary Bridge. He got a checkered path as he went through. Belcher fields it in goal. It should be a 22-place kick from the centre. It is. And it's coming out quickly through Ferguson as we watch the Foster's Lager replay and watch him. He comes down in goal. Even if he only had 1 foot on the line, he would in fact be deemed as coming down in goal. So Spears is able to stand and offload to O'Sullivan. Now it's gone to Ashley Gilbert, and he's about 7 metres short of the halfway.
Well, the Tigers should realise by now that they've certainly got a game on their hands. Canberra looking good in possession. They've got a couple of problems out wide in their defence, but they're one of those sides that are worth watching, because when they've got the ball, they spread it around and try to do something with it.
Mitch Brennan putting it down. He goes after it to make a knock-on out of it. And though he made a knock-on, he is to be congratulated in the fact that he was keen enough to go out after it, chase it, and at least force a scrum. Some players stand back and shake their head and stamp the grass and goodness knows what. He did exactly what had to be done. Penalty to Canberra. He'll get Bridge here, I think, for not retiring, or is he going for the hooker? No, he's got the hooker. He liars for feet across. 6-4 in favour of Canberra. Big Mel Meninga taking the kick. Mitch Brennan, in his case, third time proves it. That's the third time he's handled, and the previous twice he dropped it. So that'll do in the world a good, Mitch, to hang on to one. Play by Walters. Fed to O'Sullivan. Inside ball for Spears. Good tackle by McCabe. He had to take him ball and all. He might have come off second best. O'Sullivan. Now it's Dean Lance making ground up the middle, and Canberra are finding some gaps in and around the play the ball area.
The reason they're doing that is this Balmain defence is never set. Canberra are playing the ball very quickly, getting up, getting the ball rolling again, and Balmain still pushing back into position.
Hemsley's getting up slowly as McCabe plays the ball back to Hardwick, who runs with it about 5 metres. Schofield. Gartner scurries across to acting half. Gary Bridge. Well, that could have easily brought a penalty. Just that little bit of play there. I don't know whether you saw it, but Gartner was going to do a run around on Bridge, and Ferguson pulled him back. Hemsley now. They mightn't look like they're worthy of penalties, but they are in the rule book. And there's the siren sounding to bring us to the end of the first 20 as Pearce takes a long ball from Roach, nearly intercepted by Meninga, and they put it down themselves again, Balmain, so it's going to be no change at quarter time to the scoreline. Canberra 6, Balmain 4. Here's a break and then back. Seems like those... Match between Balmain and Canberra tonight. And it's Gary Belcher now, who's tackled just inside his own quarter. And Spears. Yes, it certainly has taken on a new stature. Cup football, I can remember, and I don't think I'm telling tales out of school, when some clubs treated it as, well, something that they wished would go away, but it's hung in there, and now it's not strange to see 1, 2 or even 3 coaches here taking in the action, getting themselves prepared for their next encounter, maybe with one of the evening's combatants. This is Bevan. Roach. Taken by Rowan Brennan. Pearce out wide, standing, looking, Bridge goes ahead. A good 10 metres. Roach. Bevan. Dummy back to McCabe. Got the ball back to him nicely. 5 tackles gone. Now let's see. Will they put the kick in? Just looking for a kicker to be in possession. In fact, Elias has to go from dummy half. It's a horrible kick from Benny. It's the second time he's been asked to kick, and twice they've been ordinary. This time it's been kept alive. The pass from Conlon was forward, but the referees called it back for another breach, which was a knock-on some 30 metres out.
This opening second quarter starting the way the first one finished, with Balmain easily being able to outstrip Canberra and make breaks, but they haven't finished them off and put points on the board, and that's got to be a worry to Frank Stanton.
So the referee has found Chris O'Sullivan guilty of an incorrect feed. And Balmain to take the differential penalty. Bridge finding the line on his quarter, or on the Canberra quarter. Gardner takes it towards the middle for one. Bridge to Hardwick. Hardwick getting his head down. He likes to get low to the ground, and sometimes he burrows his way through. Bevan, Conlon. Now they're paying closer attention to Conlon. Roach. Pearce. Oh, where's the runners? Here's Schofield now. But he was at a standstill. He's still able to beat the man with a fend. And now he's tackled 8 metres out from the Canberra line. Balmain aren't putting it together as well as certainly they can. Twice Pearce has been standing like a shag on a rock, pleading for somebody to come off him. 5 tackles gone. His Bridge for the kick. And he's going to recapture the ball. Can he offload? Yes! Yes! Big Steve Roach scores for Balmain. Right under the dot. Good work by Gary Bridge. Excellent work by the blonde-headed half. Better known as a 5'8". He's in the position tonight for Scott Gale. Meninga didn't know whether to clean it up or take the attacker. And Roach was there backing up and picks up a fine try.
Bridge has taken to his new position as half like a duck to water. Here it was the little grubber kick through. He regathered it. Belcher had a 2-on-1 situation. Couldn't do much about it. Roach was in support and crashed over under the uprights.
Steve Roach, the try scorer. He's been a very busy body out there so far tonight. Bridge, that was his 5th kick in the game. Conlon now, from right in front. He has those sort of kicks for entrees. No problems. And so it's the Tigers 10, the Raiders 6. Talking of Gary Bridge being in the team tonight in the rather unfamiliar number 7. And talking of the number 7, Scott Gale is with Graham Hughes at the moment.
Scott Balmain once again tonight, starting both quarters quickly. Is the team, well, really, are they making the mistakes by not playing for the full 40 or 80 minutes?
No, I don't think so, Graham. I think what happened in the first quarter, our kicking game started to lapse. So we started to rush our kicks. We weren't prepared for them at the time, and consequently we were playing football in their own quarter rather than down in theirs. And when we had them in their quarter, the defence lapsed again when Ferguson made an 80-yard run, and then we were right back in our own quarter again.
Well, there's been plenty of criticism in the media for the side. How has the team taken it?
Of course, it does. You try not to notice those sorts of things, but of course they do hit home, and it's become maybe a psychological thing with us. But we've really got to get over that, and I think tonight that we will. They'll really come home strong. Talking
about tonight, I think the breaks are coming out wide for Balmain.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got them out wide. Some of the times we're getting caught. They're getting caught with front rowers and second rowers out really wide, and we haven't seen that. But Frank told us at quarter time to have a look at that, and they'll really start to throw the ball around now, I hope.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Thanks, man.
Scott Gale talking to Graham Hughes. Ferguson plays the ball.
John Ferguson hasn't set the world on fire with the Raiders this year. He's only scored 1 try in premiership football, but tonight, each time he's handled, he's looked a danger, and he could be getting back to his best form.
So we're coming into a scrum situation, and there hasn't been a decided scrum in this match. There's been 2 set, but both have led to penalties. We haven't had a decided scrum. 26 minutes into the game.
Canberra's problem in their defence out wide isn't just the fact they're getting forwards caught out there. They use a pattern which is pretty similar to Canterbury's. Their players angle in, and they don't mind having a short backline in defence against a long attacking backline, trying to nullify the progress of the ball, and that's okay unless the opposition starts to put long balls on you, and Balmain's done that a couple of times.
Bridge. Roach. Oh, Bridge. He wasn't quite in position for it. It was well and truly planned, no question. But Roach was the man in the pressure zone, and he just had to catch and pass, and Bridge wasn't quick enough to get there. Same tunnel. The big one on Sunday, the NEC big game. Canterbury and Parramatta at the stadium. Bellamy to play it now, 32 metres out. Dean Lance. McCabe missed him the first time. He got him with the second shot. This is Coyne. Put down just outside the 22.
Canberra would help their cause a lot in attack if they could play the ball more quickly. We saw two situations there. Players took the ball up, got tackled, but they're in no hurry whatsoever to get up and play the ball.
Gilbert playing it right in the centre of the ground.
Look how slow is that.
So a knock on against Canberra and a scrum to go down about 30 metres out from the Balmain line. In big league out today, David Lydiard drops a bombshell and names Penrith as a more professional club than Parramatta. The NSWRL warns clubs about trainers making unnecessary entries onto the playing field. And for Parramatta fans, a great team pin-up. All that and more in the big league, which is out today. It's a must. This is Hardwick. Conlon with a gash over his eye, his left eye. Hemsley. Elias. It's a good kick from Benny Elias. It's gone way down to the try line. Belcher comes back. Schofield got him from behind. Meninga's the man with the ball now. Back it goes for Ferguson.
You have an example there of Canberra's willingness to keep the ball alive, and against a defence that doesn't keep coming up and making first-up tackles, they're going to give a lot of problems.
These two sides, they fought it right out to the wire, if memory serves me correctly, in the Winfield Cup at Seaford Oval. Something tells me Canberra had them on the rack and Balmain jumped out of the frying pan. This is Coyne. Very controversial match from memory. I think Giles O'Donnell might remember it better than I.
This is play on if Canberra can get it back. It was touched by the Balmain player that came very quickly out of second marker to put pressure on Gary Spears for that clearing kick.
This is Bevan. Jack. Roach. I like what he's doing tonight, Roach. Everything he's done has been done at full speed. He's letting somebody else take the softening blow. That's normally the first ruck up, and then he's getting back and hitting it up very hard and looking for runners. This is Belcher. Carey. It's Walters. Spears off the left foot into a vacant space. Gardner back on his 22. Here's Schofield dancing away from a would-be tackle. Davidson was given a hospital pass. He put it down too. Referee Barnes saw it and he was told in the meantime by Ashley Gilbert. 10-6 in favour of the Tigers. Penalty to Canberra. It's got them for not arching. Packing incorrectly, if you like, just a sweeping terminology to describe it. Can the Raiders come back from...
I'm sure that they can. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they're going to make Balmain struggle all of the way. I think that Canberra's a side that can play good football.
O'Sullivan. Oh, long ball, dangerous ball, picked up by Meninga. He's going to score, I think. Gary Jack lines him up and misses him. Big Mel Meninga scores wide out after they chanced a very, very dangerous pass. The Tigers I thought for a moment we're going to swoop in, but Meninga picked it up on, I think, the first bounce. And, of course, when the big fellow unwinds, those big thighs and those big legs, it takes more than the Australian fullback to stop him.
Well, here was a case of a bad pass, wrong footing the opposition defence. It went into a hole. That caused the Balmain defence to miss the tackle. And here you can look for Mal Meninga to use his big frame, his bulk to advantage. Gary Jack just couldn't make a tackle on him to force him out.
Big Mal Meninga attempting conversion of his own try. He might have just there in that very try paid for his contract money this year. I'm just looking at Cole McLennan for even a losing semi-finalist check, and I'll get Cole to check that because Meninga's try has put the Raiders back at 10-10, and he's got this kick to convert. No, it's wide. He pushed it away across the face of the uprights. No change, 10-all, Tigers and Raiders, third quarter final. The ball being placed by Ross Conlon. Incidentally, if you're associated with junior football at school level or junior league level, stay with me tonight into the final quarter. I'll give you some details of the National Panasonic Junior Rugby League knockout. This is Belcher now. Across now for Gilbert to go in field. The hooker's with him. Gets it back to him, the number 12. Walters it is. Chased by the number 12. Here comes Hardwick. Walters refuses to go down. Gets the pass inside. And it's Gary Bridge who pulls the ball down. Well, the old hookers had it to themselves. The Canberra hooker, Walters. Elias was after him. He fended him off. And he kept going. And it seemed, I thought, 50 metres out he had no hope, 22 metres out he was some hope, and 5 metres out even he was believing that he could score a try.
And while Steve Walters was playing himself out of the hookers union with that break, what he was doing was exposing how bad some of this Balmain defence is. They just dropped off tackle after tackle.
Incidentally, that loser's cheque is $41,000. 41,000. I don't think that'd pay for Mel's contract for a year. Make a dent in it. Here's Gary Jack tackled. That's against the markers. Outstanding. One behind the other. And Gary Bridge to take the line finder. Well, oh, I think he's made, yes he has, he's made a blunder of it. Carey goes away, and he's tackled about 35 metres out from the Balmain line.
I'd say the last thing that these Balmain players felt like doing right now was having to tackle for 6, but that's what they're going to need to do.
So swept back to O'Sullivan, now to Spears, went to ground, dived on there by, I believe, the second rower. It is, it's Gilbert. And here's Carey to a narrow blind. He tries to go back inside Elias. He's tackled 32 metres out. Elias is hurt as it comes to O'Sullivan, now to Coyne. Coyne's up the middle, and they're hanging on by the skin of their teeth, these Tigers, as they hit the blind side again. Gilbert puts up the bomb. Jack's underneath it. Plenty of time. And he's gone to ground about 5 metres out from his own line. So Jack is down injured, and I think this could be knees. Don't be surprised if he's talking to Gilbert about knees.
Never laid a hand on him at any stage.
I didn't say he did. Do you mind? I think you'll find if we were able to analyse it again, the referee may have seen what looked like knees in the back. I agree with you. Benny Elias is still receiving attention. Sideline comment, Graham Hughes. Plenty of noise on that sideline. I'm pretty sure Graham probably didn't even hear my throw down, and we will go back to him in a moment. Here's Pearce with the ball now. 30 metres out from his own line. This is McCabe. Now there's the shuffle around on the Balmain bench as Hemsley comes up near to the halfway.
I can see that David Brooks is one of the players that Frank Stanton's got warming up, and to my mind David Brooks will strengthen this side rather than weaken it when he goes on.
Conlon puts it down. Schofield Dives on it for a knock-on now. And another scrum. Let's check these changes with Graham.
Well, Ray, at this stage, of course, Benny Elias is still checking. Benny, he took a knock to the ribs when he went in to tackle Phil Carey some moments ago. So obviously Michael Perry will be straight on for Ben Elias. And also there's a query on both second rowers for David Brooks, Kevin Hardwick and Paul McCabe.
So it's Canberra with a little chip over the top by Bellamy. Belcher's going very fast. So is Gardner. So is Carey. Stacks on the mill. Over the dead ball line. Ruling that it came off a Canberra player. Incidentally, Benny Elias has put down 23 tackles in this match so far. Made 23 tackles. That's a big effort. So it's Hardwick who's tackled now. 30 metres out. Roach. Elias. Bridge. Cutout ball around the back for McCabe. Well tackled by Bellamy. Bridge again. Footy tab punters might have 10-all's the score. The footy tab people, that in fact is you people out there, you might have Balmain as a fairly short price favourite to win this, but I think somebody forgot to tell Canberra. Here's Mitch Brennan, in and away from Conlon, chased by Davidson and pulled down 35 metres out from the Balmain line. Carey across now to Gilbert.
Balmain started off with a bang in this second quarter when they put points on the board, but since those opening few minutes of this second stanza of play, all the play's been down in the Balmain half.
Hardwick's gone down injured again.
That's high.
At a shoulder, a high tackle by Paul McCabe, and a penalty to Canberra almost right in front as the Foster's Lager replay takes you through it. Gary Belcher, the man tackled. And this should be an easy one for Mal Meninga. Hardwick still getting treatment. Very close to the half-time break. I don't know whether Frank Stanton was over anxious to make these replacements prior to getting them in the room. He may be forced into that. 1 from 2 for Mal Meninga. Very short run back, or a very short tarmac, if you like, for Meninga. He got that away beautifully. So Canberra will go to the half-time break leading by 12 points to 10. Just time probably for the restart, but only just. Hardwick back on his feet. He'll almost limp into the half-time break, and it would seem certain that he'll be replaced. David Brooks will come on for him probably, although Kerry Hemsley is the other man that I had under the microscope as far as being replaced was concerned earlier on. Oh, Canberra playing Sunday school picnic stuff with it down in their own in goal. Goodness, I wouldn't think Mitch Brennan would do this in a month of Sundays. Have a look at this. Why would you want to do that? There's the siren, so it probably doesn't matter now, but that's something you don't need to do. Canberra, nevertheless, are leading Balmain by 2 points at half-time. I hope you're enjoying it. We at Channel 10 Sports are having a good time bringing it to you. Here's a break, then back. Welcome back in our Golden Try Viewers competition this year, which is to select in order the 6 best tries of the Cup Series, which will be showing during the semi-finals. The prize is a trip to Hong Kong for 2 adults and 2 children, or conversely 3 adults, flying with this airline, Cathay Pacific, and it includes the prize 10 days accommodation and $1,000 spending money, all supplied by the people at Cathay Pacific. And for the player most instrumental in scoring the selected #1 Golden Try this year, he'll receive the Foster's Gold Medal that is valued at $5,000, and the winner will be announced on Cup final night. In our weekly National Viewers Try competition, the selected try from last Wednesday's match, Manly St George, was scored by Mitchell Cox. Ritchie going out for Saints. Manly! Cox has scored! That's the ball game! And that's Manly into the semi-finals. Certainly are. And the lucky viewer to select that try was Max Donnelly from Harboard. And he wins the beautiful National Compact Disc Player. And don't forget, if you enter on one of the competition entry forms that are available when National Panasonic products are sold, you also win the bonus prize of a National 34cm portable colour TV. So all you do is nominate which try you consider to be the best in each National Panasonic Cup match and send your entry to that address, National Try of the Week, PO Box 222, North Ryde, 2113, and entries close last mail received each Tuesday. 12-10, Canberra leading as we go into the third quarter. Changes. Here's Graham Hughes.
Yes, for the Balmain side, Ray. David Brooks on in 16, as is Michael Perry in 17. And problems for the Tigers. Ben Elias apparently on his way for x-rays for a possible broken hand. And we might take this opportunity now to grab Don Ferner, who I would think would have to be fairly happy with that first half performance.
I think we've put in a very solid 20 minutes. And, you know, to be in this position at half-time, I'm very happy about that because we've come back twice and we've been tackling pretty well. So if we can keep that up and get them down into their territory, we'll go all right again.
Problem area for you now, Don. An amazing number of games in the National Panasonic that are more or less wrapped up in this third quarter.
Well, we've just been talking about that and they're all aware of that. This is the turning point, if you like, in this game. It could be won or lost in this 20 minutes. And we're trying to do this to make sure we get out of this 20 minutes still in the same position.
All right, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Don Ferner. This is Coyne. Kevin Hardwick, incidentally, pinched a nerve in his shoulder, and Conlon has had 3 stitches inserted in that cut above the eye. Belcher's kick, it's found touch. I was looking at Davidson over there, and he looked as though he was certain it was going out. So bridge to feed. Canberra's loose. And won by Canberra against the feed. It's Brennan. That ball in that previous scrum had a bit of help, I'll give you the tip, from other than a foot. Belcher. Well, just inside the quarter. Now here's Bellamy putting up the high kick. Jack goes underneath it. He got a bit of a shuffle up from one of the Canberra players. And the referee is ruling that a knock-on occurred. Now here's Jack. Now watch this. In fact, the player I'm talking about had come and gone. Here he is now coming around behind the screen, number 13. Gary Coyne. He went through. He had no intention of fielding the ball. All he did was run across the eye line of Jack as Canberra win the scrum close to the Balmain line, and the Raiders with a very good chance to enlarge their lead. This is Coyne, and play about 6 metres out from the Balmain line. Dummy half O'Sullivan. Across now for Brennan, and he's pulled down in a desperate tackle by Pearce. Played back now to Walters, across to O'Sullivan. This is Bellamy, and Bellamy hit there by Brooks coming in over the top. Jack was there as well. Walters away from dummy half again, 10 metres out, feeds it back to Gilbert, and Gilbert is held by Davidson. Still Canberra on the attack, looking to kick, I would think. Here's O'Sullivan, putting it up high across the ground, a great kick. Oh, dearie. McCabe, he got in the road of Gary Jack, and in fact they're pretty lucky to come out of it as sweetly as they have, but McCabe's there. There's no call. I can't believe there was a Balmain call there. They seemed like they were doing their damnedest to get in each other's road.
Wasn't it a great kick by O'Sullivan? He put up the bomb and it landed just in the field of play, which meant that even if Jack had caught it, it wasn't going to result in the line dropout.
Oh, no question about the calibre of the kick, Bill, but there was no call from the Balmain players. So here it is down to O'Sullivan. 12-10, Canberra leading. 4 minutes of the third quarter gone.
This is going to be a very difficult time for Balmain. Their defence was stretched in the opening 2 quarters of this game. They've now got what I consider to be a bit more defence on in the form of David Brooks, but Canberra throwing everything at them.
This is Brennan. He's having a strong game, this boy, Rowan Brennan. Inga at the feet of Carey. Davidson wins the race for the ball. Still going, but I think he was told to play it. I saw Barnes point at Davidson as if to say, I think he probably said play on, but he may have indicated to him that he wanted the ball played. Conlon, as you can see, is saying, you're joking. Pearce is asking the question, and Davidson is still baffled by the decision. So he's given the penalty to Canberra. (4-2) the scrums to Canberra, 6-4 the penalties to Canberra. Spears. Oh, Bellamy. This will be a scrum. About 12 metres on the Balmain side of halfway. Bridge. Roach. Pearce. McCabe. Oh, good ball there by Schofield to Conlon to Jack now, and he's held on the halfway. Case of a good pass run under pressure there by Schofield. This is Brooks. Canberra tackling with a lot of purpose. This kick going down for Ferguson to bring it back. Oh, he lined Gartner up and got around him, and he only had 2 metres to work in.
Had virtually no room whatsoever. I don't think Gartner expected Ferguson to try to beat him on the outside. He gave a bit of a shuffle, took off and beat him easily.
So the sideline comment from Graham Hughes.
Well, Ray, there's further movement on that Balmain bench. I noticed that Paul Bevan's been hobbling out in the 5'8" position for the Balmain side. Enormous opportunity here if he doesn't come good in the next couple of minutes or so for Frank Stanton to put the Englishman Tony Myler on deck.
It's almost reached that time anyway, Graham.
Well, it has.
Something.
Yes, in the last 2 or 3 minutes, Balmain especially, they seem to have lost the pattern of their play. They're only 2 points behind on the scoreboard. You would have thought they were 10 or 12 the way they're trying to more or less panic into quite a few things.
Here's Bridge. Inside for Conlon. Hemsley. Bevan. Dean Lance injured for Canberra, and Bevan is still limping badly. Whittaker. So I think the change is about to be made as Balmain kick into a space between the full back and the winger. Here's Belcher. Tackler was David Brooks, and there he is, Tony Myler, the number 15, on the sidelines and about to take the field to link up with his English comrade Yowie Schofield, and of course a big moment in rugby league in 1986 for Balmain, 25 years of age. He's quite a tall lad, about a 6-footer, and played for Widnes, and is a Great Britain representative, 83 through 85. So John Ferguson getting some attention. Myler on the paddock. 12-10 Canberra leading in the National Panasonic third quarter. mistake to make. Gary Spears, I don't think he's seen the ball yet. And now Balmain have got the football 5 metres out from the Canberra line. Right in the middle of the paddock. Across it goes now to Gary Schofield. Myler was with him in the 15 jumper. Dummy half is Whittaker. Across to Bridge. On it goes to Roach. The big man through one. On to Conlon. Oh, what a great pass. What a great pass. And into the in goal. Scoring the try goes John Davidson. Well, if you're looking for a man of the match at this stage, and maybe I'm being premature, but look no further than Ross Conlon. You'd be very hard-pressed to be outvoted. There's the Foster's Lager replay of this big man, who probably is somewhere near the money for that match billing, but Conlon has had a part in everything. Davidson goes in for his second try, and a great ball under pressure from Conlon.
Well, if you're looking for a reason for this try, it was the Canberra mistake they made a few moments ago under their own post. That gave Balmain the opportunity. Ross Conlon threw the ball over the top to Davidson, who had the overlap, but he still had plenty of work to do. Belcher was coming across in cover. He got a hand onto him, but couldn't hold him.
So there's the try scorer, John Davidson. He felt he was done a wrong about 5 minutes ago. You might recall the incident when he, in fact, gave a penalty against his team. Conlon has kicked 1 from 2. He's now out on the 22, as you can see. Right in front of, in fact, his sponsors signed, the Alpha Micro people. And I got a feeling he's going to get this. In flight looks good, but it's just off. Just off. No change. Balmain 14, Canberra 12. A real tighty. With leadership fluctuating once, twice, thrice. This is Pearce now. To the 22. This is David Brooks. Perry's the dummy half. Roach wants it, but it's a dummy run for him, and McCabe is tackled. Roach has had an enormous game here tonight. Hemsley. Now it's Bridge. That's a good kick, making the winger and the fullback at least do a little bit of work to get to the bounce of the ball. Myler makes the tackle. Tony Myler, eh? I think I'm right in saying that Noel Cleal rates him as the best, if not one of the best backs that he's ever played with. Brennan tackled. If they're beaten tonight, Canberra, it'll be no fault of Rowan Brennan. He's had a particularly strong game for the Raiders. Spears puts the kick in. Jack's underneath it. Here goes the Australian fullback. Back to the defensive line. Away from one. Taken by O'Sullivan. 10 metres Balmain side of the halfway. Here's Myler now. Pull down and tackle. Dummy half will be Gary Bridge.
Myler will want to learn quickly about Australian football, the way he played that ball then by just planting on the ground. If he does that again, he'll lose it very quickly with someone raking it back.
Roach, Schofield, holding Carey at bay, but then eventually Carey pulled him down right on the halfway mark. 5 gone now. Schofield gets that stabbing kick in. It's crossed the touchline about 32 metres out. Schofield limping a little bit as he comes back to his centre position. Seems to be favouring one of those ankles. He may have kicked the ground very well. It's out the same tunnel. 14-12, the Tigers leading. Penalty to Balmain. You're looking to win a popularity poll, particularly at Leichhardt. In a tense moment like this, give a penalty to Balmain. Is it any different anywhere in rugby league? So here's the tap taken by the Tigers, and Davidson, with the smell of tries very much in his nostrils. He's got 2 tonight, and now he appears to have been injured in that tackle. Clutching at his head. Maybe the Canberra player came down on top of his forehead. Let's have a look at this now. Is Davidson being driven into the ground? Oh, yes. Very much so. He's going to have a headache in the morning. As if he hasn't got one now. Nice thing to do to a dual try scorer. He's probably safe. Roach. Oh, the big man might score himself. No, he's short. Through the hands of 3 Balmain inside players. Here's Myler. Myler standing, getting it away for Conlon. Out to Hemsley now. Hemsley looks for support, but he's pulled down about 15 out from the line. Right in the centre of the ground from not Whittaker, but Perry back to Bridge. Bridge it is who's tackled on the 22 line. This match going right down to the wire. 2 points in it at the moment. And certainly it's got all the earmarks of knockout football. As Myler knocks on, and a scrum to go down, just on the Canberra 22 line. 4 minutes of the third quarter to go. Big push by Balmain. Gary Bridge, out of 1, stands in a second. Back for Pearce. Pearce is tackled. 8 metres from the Raiders line. Can Balmain put them away now? Long ball, Schofield, taken by Gardner. Oh, he's been put into touch by Phil Kerry. Good tackle. Davidson had come right across from his left flank. You can't see him in this picture on the Foster's replay. Gardner wasn't aware that he was there, I'm sure. He had enough on his plate, in fact, Russ, but Davidson had come right across the ground to be of some help. Canberra coming up with it. Ferguson tackled. And he had a marker. It's a penalty for Ross Conlon. This is a stupid mistake for a man of Ferguson's knowledge of the game to make. He was marked up. And of course, you can't handle the ball until it's cleared the play-the-ball contest. It's as simple as that.
Well, when you consider that Canberra are only behind by 2 points, they've dug their own grave.
Ross Conlon doing some digging of his own, some gardening as he builds this mound to attempt the penalty that'll see Balmain in front by 4. Close to the three-quarter break. About 2.5 minutes, in fact. Ross Conlon. He's missed it. Well, how many times would Ross Conlon miss a kick like that? 14-12 in favour of the Tigers. So some hope still there, very much so for Canberra.
It's a huge dropout by Mal Meninga. He kicked it from his own quarter. It landed well over halfway, and Gary Jack's now run it back and got it just out of his own quarter zone.
Playing it back to Perry. Schofield. This is Hemsley. Roach. I made a comment earlier about Conlon and the man of the match. I was talking about that award as we find Gary Bridge knocking on, and he's not very happy with himself, nor is he happy with the man who passed it to him. But taking a double stock on it by Jove Roach has played well. So I'll bet each way if you don't mind. Here's Meninga. O'Sullivan, they're not beaten yet, the Raiders. Belcher, back it goes for big Meninga. And he's pulled down by Conlon, 32 metres out from the Balmain line.
The Raiders are far from beaten. They've just made too many mistakes. If they continue to do that, they can't win the game. But if they get their house in order, they're in there with a big chance.
Played by Ferguson. This is Lance. Now it's Coyne. On the 22. 2 points in arrears. 3 tries to the Tigers, 2 to the Raiders. This is Spears now. O'Sullivan. Bellamy. O'Sullivan. A kick for his outside backs. And Davidson is there to take it without much trouble for Balmain. Bridge. Brooks. On last year's form, it's hard to believe a Balmain team without David Brooks in it. McCabe. Perry. McCabe. Siren only seconds away now. Bridge. Kick going straight to Ferguson. He puts it down. They're all onside now. Belcher. Siren sounding as Belcher kicks. He's the only chaser. And Jack puts it down. Recovers quickly. And that's the end of the third quarter. And Balmain going to the break, leading by 2 points. As we have a look now at the National Panasonic Superstar Prize, and here's Victoria Nichols. 14-12, the Tigers leading the Raiders as we come into the final quarter of the third quarter final. The winners, of course, going into the semis. And already in the semi-finals are Manly and Parramatta. And to go in there, the winner of this match plus the winner out of Easts and Wests. Roach. Perry. Forgive me for calling him Whittaker there earlier, but Neil had been around for so long, and he's still very much associated with the club. And he was in the dressing rooms earlier tonight, and I think that's what happened. I more or less photographed him in my mind and couldn't get him out. This is Belcher. And the other hooker, of course, Benny Elias, is currently on the sidelines with Graham Hughes.
Ben, X-ray bound. What's the story?
I guess I won't know until after the X-ray tonight. I'll go straight from here to Balmain Hospital and see how it goes from there.
Are you being optimistic?
I'd like to think so. It doesn't feel good. I can't clench my fist at the moment, so it doesn't feel too good.
Well, the side's fought back very strongly.
Yeah, well, sure. You know, they're starting to show a bit of the Tiger spirit, which we know we're capable of. You know, playing great football, and it's, you know, it may not have been colourful, but we've stuck to the basics.
What do you think's been the problem?
Oh, mate, if I knew that, I'd be an expert, I think.
Well, good luck in your coaching endeavours. Good luck with the hand too, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
So the scrum's going to go down about 9 metres on the Balmain side of halfway. There's the handling errors. Balmain getting a penalty. Bridge taking the line kick as a Balmain trainer ambles onto the paddock. He's not doing anything except taking a message to Gary Jack. It's been under the spotlight of criticism, in fact. Trainers making unnecessary trips onto the ground. David Brooks. Now it's Bridge to the blind. Cut out ball on Roach, and it's gone over there to Gartner. It's a bad pass picked up by Perry.
Wouldn't surprise me at all with Balmain just sneaking in front to the scoreline of 14-12 if they started to think about field goals when they're in this position. Tries have been fairly few and far between, and a field goal, just the extra point now and then, could be the difference in the end.
Here's Gary Bridge. It's It's a very high kick, a good one, and plenty of time for the chasers, but Belcher comes down with it. Tremendous take on this long fullback from Queensland. Belcher goes to the halfway. He picks up Mitch Brennan. He fends off one. He stands in a second, but nobody with him other than Bellamy, the 5'8".
That was a great effort by Wayne Pearce. He had to cover some 70 metres to make that tackle.
He's indicated shoulders against Myler. O'Sullivan plays it as it goes through two sets of hands to Belcher. He gets the ball inside for Bellamy. And Canberra coming back strongly in the final quarter. Play back to Walters. Onto the ball strongly Spears, but he's put it down. And Coyne dives on it, so it'll be a scrum. Canberra making two changes.
Yes, Paul Elliott in 16 will be on for Ashley Gilbert, and Grant Ellis will go to the front row in place of Gary Spears.
Elliott in 16, Ellis in 17, and is Gilbert and Spears coming off now. Scrum win to Canberra. It's the second scrum win to Canberra against the feed.
Balmain starting to look a bit tired around the rucks. I think Canberra could start to look towards the inside pass, just taking the ball up and tipping it to a man on the fly. Some of the Balmain defence in that area is getting sloppy.
Quick hands. Belcher! McCabe missed him the first time, got him the second. Now it's Meninga. This is Walters. He's had a fine game. He's won a couple of valuable scrums. He's been very handy in attack and defence. And Ellis to play it now. Coyne turning it back, picking up Meninga. Meninga within about 5 metres of the line on the fifth tackle. Dummy half is Coyne. To the left it goes to Bellamy, then it goes to Elliott. Oh, he had his arms free, but the ball has come down to Balmain. And David Brooks plays it. Gary Schofield runs with it and is pulled down by Phil Carey. Coming away with it is Perry, just inside the 22, setting it up for the kick down the ground. Hemsley now. 14 points to 12. The current cup holders, Balmain, defending their right at the moment to at least get through to the semis and then to the cup final. And now we see Jack getting a kick in. It's not a brilliant kick. And Belcher, the man who almost pulled off a length of the field try with the help, of course, of Mitch Brennan, his tackle. Back to O'Sullivan, away to Ferguson. And Ferguson has decided that now's the time for him to display his wares. No knock on, says the referee. I disagree with that. That was a knock on against Canberra, but they're allowed the benefit of the doubt. It's gone to O'Sullivan. Onto the halfway to Meninga, the big man, over the 22. Mitch Brennan's got the ball. He's pulled down 8 metres from the Balmain line.
Balmain are in all sorts of trouble. Canberra running white hot at the moment with plenty of possession.
This is Belcher. Legs cut from under him by Gary Jack. Played back to Meninga, given to O'Sullivan, now to Walters, now to Elliott. There's the kick off the left foot. It's going over the dead ball line. So back to the 22 for the restart. Balmain leading by 2 points. Our statistician is one of their best supporters. He's prostrate on the floor. And he's got an awful
Gone through about 7 pencils.
Dirty colour of white, I can assure you. Somebody pick him up quickly. The ball played and it's gone across to Hemsley. Hemsley 35 metres out from his line. Dummy half Gary Bridge. Here he is coming round the corner and tackled by Coyne. Strong performance by this nuggety front rower. Now it's Roach. Long ball. Schofield! Schofield! Now it's Gardner. Inside. Schofield. Inside. That's Roach. Roach is tackled by Carey. I thought for a moment we were looking at a tremendous try in the making. Across now for Perry. Around the back for Schofield. On for Conlon. They've got the numbers. Oh, dearie, dearie me, the number 15. Tony Myler only had to hang on to that ball, and I'm pretty sure they would have been over the try line. but we see Belcher coming outside the 22.
This is a game that's opened up very much now, with the play fluctuating from one end of the field to the other.
What an exciting third quarter final. Don Ferner, the Canberra coach. Frank Stanton, the Balmain coach. And Arthur Beetson. Jim Morgan standing alongside Artie. Geez, he could play football, couldn't he? Well, you should remember that. Coyne. Ellis. Elliott. Meninga.
Elliott's got that wonderful ability to be able to get the ball away in tackles. I sometimes think he just pushes it a bit too hard.
14 points to 12 in favour of the Tigers, and a kick for Ross Conlon from the same place where he missed his previous attempt. Meninga had been called held. That's all I can deduce from that. The penalty going to Balmain. 1 from 4 for Conlon. He's been off with his kicking the last couple of matches. There's that wrist of Benny Elias. It's certainly blown up a little bit. Incidentally, that knockout carnival, the National Panasonic, is on the weekend of the Queen's birthday, 8th and 9th, of under 14s, under 15s, sponsored by National Panasonic. Further details on the carnival with $2,000 prize money, you can write to me at Channel 10 for the National Panasonic Junior Knockouts, under 14s and under 15s, open to junior and school football teams. Alrighty, here's Conlon, and he's missed it again. Whoa! 2 out of 11 for Ross Conlon in his last 11 kicks, the last 2 matches. It's 14 to 12 to the Tigers.
Canberra team number 15 is Ron Giddo.
Change, Graham.
Ron Giddo in 15 for Canberra has gone on for their captain, Dean Lance, who's limping now and also has some rib problems. And Peter Camero in 14 is warming up in the tunnel for Balmain. Haven't had it confirmed. I believe that'll be for Kerry Hemsley, with Brooks moving up into the front row.
Canberra's got the football. Tackled and put down Ron Giddo. O'Sullivan, Bellamy.
This is a very vital stage of the game, and I think it's important the referee, Barry Barnes, gets back 5 metres and keeps both teams back.
Elliott tackled now, midway between the 22 and halfway, Balmain's end of the ground. If you're trying to work out what would happen in the event of a draw here, it's not too hard, because Balmain have scored 3 tries to 2. Play on the Balmain 22.
Doesn't that Balmain defence look ordinary around the ruck area? I'm sure that just a little inside pass would split them wide open.
This is Belcher. 5 tackles gone for the Raiders. Will they kick or will they push the ball? It's with Meninga. He decides to kick, fielded by Gary Bridge, and he turns defence into attack. Tackled by Belcher. 9 minutes of the match remaining. 9 minutes for Balmain to make the semis, and 9 minutes, of course, for Canberra to write another page into the history books of rugby league. On in 14, Graham Hughes.
Well, this time, as I said, it was Peter Camero in 14 and the man to come off, Kerry Hemsley. Further to what Billy Anderson was saying, Johnny Ferguson, a man that when he does receive the football always looks dangerous. He hasn't received too much clean ball tonight. In these dying 8 or 9 minutes, look for Ferguson to go searching for that football, especially around the rucks where Balmain's defence has been weakest throughout the game, taking off from dummy half position himself.
David Brooks. Roach. Bridge. It's a good kick under pressure. Has gone to the most dangerous player on the ground, though, and that's Ferguson. If anybody can snatch this one out of the fire for Canberra, It certainly is Johnny Ferguson. That's why he'll fold in behind the play the balls, I would think, getting into dummy half in the last minutes of this game as Canberra get this penalty. Schofield is still down injured. Coyne.
Look at that, he span off the first, span off the second tackle. All Canberra have got to do to win this game, they don't have to do anything fancy, is take the ball up hard, look to offload with support in near the rucks, because they'll find the breaks there.
Ellis getting away. A good ball to Bellamy. Balmain have used all their replacements. Schofield is back in the line. In fact, he's playing in a covered defence position at the moment, just behind the line, between the fullback and the others. Here's Walters. Long ball, hoping for the best. And it's come down to Meninga. Meninga gets it away to Brennan. Brennan inside for Meninga, but he was tackled. Whether or not he had the ball is another question. I do believe the ball was passed to him. Referee ruling to play on, and this is Camero. Just outside the quarter, Gary Jack. And there's the scoreline. Balmain 14, Canberra 12. As again we see timeout. No one leaving the ground. And as I said, a healthy crowd on hand to see this one between the Tigers and the Raiders. We've had a lot of stoppages as Balmain players go down injured or otherwise. Bridge off the outside edge of the boot over towards Ferguson's wing. Carey's coming across. They're all offside, the Balmain players. Now they can do what they like as he makes the 5 metres. And it's Gartner who makes the tackle. Ferguson is the dummy half. It's gone through to Ghetto. Over it goes to O'Sullivan. A long ball is all they needed there. Balmain were angling in. And a long ball would have seen Meninga going right down the other side of the ground. This is a Coyne now. And a good tackle by Camero. By Myler, I should say. Across now for Bellamy to give it to Elliott, and he's on the halfway as he pops it back to Ghetto. Now to Belcher. Belcher's away from Conlon. Davidson's got him. Inside it goes. Ghetto juggles it. Gets the ball back to Big Meninga, and he's tackled inside the 22. 6 minutes of time remaining. Canberra, they've got to score a try. It comes across, and it's out with O'Sullivan. It's gone over to Big Ellis in 17, and he's pulled down by Wayne Pearce and by Gary Schofield. 5 tackles gone for Canberra. O'Sullivan puts up the bomb. It's almost gone straight up and down in the one spot, and up above them is Gary Jack. No, it's not Jack, but in fact Gary Bridge. He plays it on the 22 line. It's Perry in 17. Camero. Elliott the tackler. Jack. Davidson. 5 tackles gone. Camero it is who puts the kick in. Bouncing down to the in-goal area. Hits the uprights. Brooks comes through. Not sure where he came from, but he makes the tackle. Ferguson. Tackle by Schofield and Myler. Bellamy now. Brennan. Ball loose. Ghetto away to Ellis. Ferguson. Good tackle by Pearce. He's absolutely lifting himself out of the ground, Wayne Pearce, to make some desperate tackles in the second half. 5 tackles gone for the green side. The Canberra Raiders And Belcher puts the kick in. Bouncing around awkwardly for Davidson. Myler. I think he's going to score. Yes, he does. Tony Myler has gone right through them. Well, what an auspicious entry to Australian first-grade rugby league. Just when the Tigers needed something like this, Tony Myler, the new boy in town, provided it for them. He beat them with simply a change of pace. There was no sidestep, no swerve, just a change of pace.
The Canberra players here, to me, were waiting for Myler to do something with the ball. Davidson had stood in a tackle. He passed it back to him with really nowhere to go. There was plenty of defence in front of him, but the Raiders waited and waited to see what was going to happen. Well, Myler had in his mind what he was going to do with the ball. He was going to run towards the try line, and that's what he did to come up with the 4 points.
Looking at it on the head-on, and there weren't too many Raiders to be found. And Tony Myler picks up a try for Balmain. I wonder will he repeat what Gary Schofield did for them last year. The try converted by Ross Conlon, and Balmain, the heat is off them now. 20 points to 12. The match in its dying minutes, and Balmain heading for yet another cup semi-final. Gary Bridge. Change, Graham Hughes.
Well, one Canberra player has certainly deserved his spell here at the end of the game is Rowan Brennan. He's just been replaced by Chris Kenner. But probably important to hark back to what Don Ferner was saying when we interviewed him at the top of that third quarter. He tried to stress the importance to his Raiders outfit. How many games have been won and lost in that third quarter in this National Panasonic Cup, and that's where they went to sleep. He might have said the words, but they went to sleep on him.
Bridge. Just repeating, we'll be making the semi-final draw at the conclusion of this telecast. It will be made by John McGuirk, in fact, the National Panasonic boss here in New South Wales. I told you earlier Tom Bellew was going to make it, but he's asked that the sponsor, John McGuirk, in fact, the National Panasonic man, do the draw himself for the semis. This is Ellis. And a penalty goes to Canberra. Meninga finding the line. Well, has this match had its exciting moments? Good strong run by Kinner as he took it up on his first occasion. Coyne now on the Balmain 32. O'Sullivan, Gitto, back to O'Sullivan. Little kick out wide for Carey, who's going fast. And it's come down to Balmain. Diving on it is Camero. This is Myler. Brooks. Pearce. And there's the siren. The end of the third quarter final. It went right down to the wire, didn't it? Before Balmain pulled away in the final quarter to win by 20 points to 12. Davidson 2 tries. Roach Myler tries. Conlon 2 goals. And for Canberra, O'Sullivan and Meninga the tries. And Meninga kicked 2 goals. 20 points to 12 then. We'll come back with the superstar points and the man of the match. And of course the semi-final draw after this break. Welcome back now. Balmain defeating Canberra in a most exciting quarter-final by 20 points to 12. Let's have a look at the National Panasonic Superstar points. 1 to Gary Bridge, 2 to Gary Belcher, and 3 points and man of the match to Steve Roach. Here he is with Billy Anderson.
Well done, Steve. That was an exciting game to watch, but no doubt it was a hard stopper to play in.
Yeah, it was a very hard game, Bill, and I'm glad we got the cash tonight, and we'll be back on Sunday to play Penrith.
Do you think tonight could be the turning point for Balmain? Your form hasn't been all that good.
Well, I think our form's been good. It's just been a couple of defensive lapses, and Frank's working on that at the moment, and I think we'll come good.
Every week, our national man of the match receives a national Panasonic video cassette recorder with infrared remote control, valued at $950, and I know you'll put that to good use.
Thanks very much, Bill. And I'd like to thank National for the award and Channel 10 for televising the games today.
So, Big Steve Roach takes out the Man of the Match award. Let's see who takes out the Footy Tab award. John Croucher.
Yes, Ray, well, the final scoreline of Balmain 20 and Canberra 12 wasn't all that far away from the most popular scores selected by the entries, and that meant we had a lot of winners, in fact 461 of them, and they will each receive a provisional dividend of $72.75.
$72.75. Not a bad Footy Tab in view of the popularity of the scoreline. Let's have a look at what's coming up on Channel 10 Rugby League. On Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, the Commonwealth Bank Cup, well worth watching. The country colleges, St John's Woodlawn from Lismore, they're beaten by the Hawker College from Canberra. That'll be followed by the match of the year so far. Parramatta versus Canterbury in the NEC big game, 6 o'clock on Channel 10 Sunday night. Of course, the venue, the stadium. And then next Wednesday night here at Leichhardt, Western Suburbs versus Eastern Suburbs. And by golly, do memories flood back about their clashes in cup football. It goes round again, that same clash, the National Panasonic fourth quarter final next Wednesday, and on your screens at 8:30. With me now in the broadcasting box is the state manager of National Panasonic, Mr. John McGuirk. And as I said during the run of play, Tom Bellew was to have conducted the semi-final draw, but John has come in at the request of Tom that the sponsor do the semi-final draw. Thanks for joining me.
Good evening, Ray. How are you?
We'll get straight underway, John. I'll have a bit of a chat to you in just a moment, but here are the teams as they go into the barrel, as they have, or in fact will enter the semi-finals. So John, if you can open the box, we'll put Parramatta's name in first and foremost, followed in by Manly Warringah, and then the Tigers. And the last team to enter the semi-finals will be the winner of next week's fourth quarter between the Magpies and Eastern Suburbs. So there it is, closing the hatch, and John, spin the barrel and make the semi-final draw for your cup in 1986. And heavens above, hasn't it been a successful season for rugby league, but particularly for your cup? It's been a beauty.
It's been a great year, Ray. The crowd's been great, and I believe the interest this year has been better than ever.
I certainly agree with all of that, and I do think that the decision of the league, together with the promoters, to go country on at least 5 occasions this year has been an outstanding success. The first team out of the barrel is Parramatta. Parramatta, first team out into the semi-final draw, and they've drawn to play Manly Warringah. So it's Parramatta versus Manly in a semi-final of the Cup. That, of course, John, should leave us with Balmain.
Hopefully, right?
To play the winner of Eastern Suburbs and Western Suburbs, and of course that match yet to be played. East and West, the final teams out. All right, well, John, there you have the draw, and of course a blockbuster in the shape of Parramatta against Manly, and West or East, well, I suppose both of them can be described as a battler versus Balmain.
Could be a real Cinderella story, Ray. I think Western Suburbs have got a lot to prove to a lot of people, and Manly and Parramatta is going to be a great game, so I think the next few weeks of cup football is going to be the best of the season.
Thanks for doing the draw.
Thanks, Ray. It's good to be with you.
Have a good final series.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the draw as it now comes up, and there it is. The 1986 National Panasonic semi-finals. Parramatta plays Manly, and Balmain will play the winner of Eastern Suburbs, Western Suburbs. On behalf of John McGuirk, the crew, Bill and Graham, I'm Ray Warren from Leichhardt. Good night.
Hey, rugby league fans, take advantage of the many discounts and giveaways on offer by becoming members of...
Letcham Robinson stand again